Okay, let's get rolling on day 9 here. It's going to be, I'm going to put 9 and 10 together because it's going to be a short day today. And I've been thinking about this more. I think I'm overthinking these holes. They are kind of big. First of all, not all 8 of them need to be welded up because a couple of them ought to be the mounting holes. I would guess it's these 2 that are like perfect symmetry and right in the middle are the mounting holes for the emblem. And there I'll have to drill one down here. So there's half a dozen that I need to weld up, and I think I'm overthinking it. I just need to weld them and grind them and be done with it. So let's start doing that. Okay. They say golf balls are very aerodynamic. So I think I've lowered the drag coefficient of the bus here. However, as bad as it looks, I'm not going to cut anymore. I am going to weld up a little bit more. I'm not going to worry about little tiny pinholes because there's going to be epoxy primer, and then there's going to be several coats and block sanding of body filler, and then there's going to be high build primer. And so my hope is that a lot of these slight imperfections can be covered up. I did get to a point where I looked up to check and see what the cost of a new nose is. The part itself is only about $320, but shipping is like $450. So add tax and you're looking at, over $900 for just this panel here. So I'm really motivated to not have to buy the panel. And it's not like we're in any hurry here. Take as long as I need. As long as it doesn't drive me insane. So yeah, that's where we're at. Okay, let's talk about what we've got here. That's a little bit of a problem. I'm chasing a never-ending dimple. Pull it out in one place, causes it to happen in another place. So I'm just going to get it. See, this is right behind the emblem. I need to pull this just a hair more. Let me try something. I'm going to try to see if I can just get inside, just behind this, and push on it to stretch it out just a hair. So annoying. God, this is driving me crazy. It'd be so much easier if I could just cut or even get behind it. Behind the emblem, so I just needed to not want to pop in, which it doesn't want to now. Okay, kind of already got started. Sorry. So I'm going to do a little bit here on the nose today. And then I'm going to move on because I've spent enough time on this nose. I'm just going to get it so that I don't have any oil can, you know, the doink doink happening here. The shape is close enough that any kind of, you know, I'm going to use a little body filler up here anyway. So all the dimples will be hidden, everything else like that. I'm not going to cut the whole friggin' thing off. Spend $1,000 to get a new piece of metal here. This metal is good enough for the job. But I want to show how I learned this last night on YouTube on how to get rid of the oil can thing, because what's happening is as the metal stretches, you get that kind of doink doink. Here, I'm going to show you. Right? So the guy's like heated up propane torch, and you can watch the metal as it expands because it'll bow out towards you. When it gets really hot, just about red hot, and I'm going to take this hammer here, this point, and I'm going to whack it a couple of times, you know, right in the center of that heat and create a dimple, which you can see I've already done here. There were oil cans over here, but now they're gone. And then as soon as you whack it a couple times, then you cool it real fast. And that pulls it together, and that dimple kind of goes in a little bit, and then the oil can goes away. But let me show you. Alright. This around, okay. So let's find the center. Right about here. Get this real hot. Now I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but that area is bowing out towards me. It'll bow in whatever direction it's at. Now he said get it red hot. my propane gas is good enough. Well, let's start to blow there. I'm ding it a couple of times. And as I'm pulling this down, I can feel the metal shrinking under my hand. And Hill said you may have to do it a couple of times because as you get rid of the oil can in one place, it might move. So I have to push real hard. And I can feel right, and it's still kind of warm. Stuff up real good and just let it cool on its own. Like I can literally watch the metal move as I heat it. I feel like that contracts too much. It does get rid of the oil pan. Now, what I have is, this is kind of where it ought to be, but now this section down here is kind of shrunk in it. So I'm just going to play with this. I just wonder if I can get this. Well, the problem now is that this is pulled in. I wonder if it's kind of a reverse. So getting it behind that air handler duct to pump this out. Now I wonder if I add heat, is it going to protrude more? Definitely is. I just wonder if I let it cool down on its own, what it would do. It's amazing how much the metal would be heated. Almost, I mean, we're talking several millimeters. if I pop this back out, heat it up, whack it. Jammed in there will help me out. Pry bar move because this metal has moved so far out on its own. Doesn't seem like that would have solved the problem, but yeah, it did solve the problem. That's crazy. So this now does not want to be pushed in, it wants to stay out. And that gets all this close where I can use a bit of body filler and block sand this. It's definitely not going to be concours. None of this is going to go to Pebble Beach. Flexes, but it doesn't oil. It all flexes a bit. That's good enough for me. That's going to do the job that I needed done. It's going to allow me to body fill that, and it's going to let me, most of all, move on with this friggin' project. Let's move on to the next thing, eh? All right, next we are going to work on the driver's side first rear window. Here's what she looks like. What a beauty. Very religious. Quite holy. See what I did there? Okay, yeah. So what I'm gonna need to do here is obviously cut out the stuff. One of the things I'm seeing, which is sort of all over the place here, is this rust pattern where it gets under the paint and then you end up with this weird sort of cascade rust. I don't know if you can quite see that. So I'm going to, there's no rust flake. Honestly, rust converter ought to be able to just prep that pretty much for metal. So I'm not going to grind too much on that. I'm going to rely on rust converter to do its job. I am going to cut this out, and I'm going to use the spot weld chisel to get in here. See how high I need to go. Ooh, lovely. Oh, how about that? Acorns. in the ceiling. That's usually a good sign. Isn't that a good sign? That's like luck or something if you have acorns in your ceiling. Yeah, I wonder what I'm going to find when I really get in there. Well, let's get busy cutting. Okay, lunchtime, but let me take a quick assessment of where we're at with the window here. So we've got the first part of the new metal rough welded in. So much stronger with just the new metal. It always surprises me how strong sheet metal becomes when you weld a couple pieces together. So we got that down. It looks like the L bracket's going to come up to about here, which is the vast majority of the nasty stuff. This is pitted, but I don't think it's going to need to be cut out. Could be wrong, but if so, oh, cool, ripped my shirt. If so, there's a piece that I cut out, so that's not a problem. I'll be able to replace that. This side is nice. In fact, most likely what I'll do is I'll cut that bracket off down here, and I'll have another piece of channel that I can use somewhere else. So let me get something to eat. Okay, let's wrap up a very productive weekend here. What did we get done this weekend? Well, to recap, we worked on the nose here. And while she ain't pretty right now, it's nice and solid. There's no oil can. It's pretty smooth-ish. I got the place to mount the emblem, and I'm gonna come in when the time comes, skim all this. So all these areas like this where the tire pushed in and stretched this and had a dimple here, there was a dimple over here, and then this was pulled out, and it's like a big S curve here. That's all gone. The nose is basically ready for me to cover it in epoxy primer when I do the whole thing, and then start getting ready for body filler. Sanding and blocking that, which is super fun if you've never done it. From that, we moved on to today, working on the windows here. This one was pretty bad. And we've got all new metal in here that we need. Frames over here are good. Frames on top are good. See, this is just, that's just surface rust. Needs finish welding, grinding. Boom, bada bing. That one's done. We'll move on to this guy. Same thing. I'm getting faster at this. Happens every time. I basically relearn everything every time I do one of these anyway. That's what happens when you do like a restoration once every 4 years. So I feel like that was a good day. It's amazing how much stronger these things are when you get good metal in them. So I am super stoked about that. We got to come back here. Let's not forget, do our other bit of window here. Nice thing about those kits is there's a little bit of extra bracket metal, so I'll be able to get in here and finish that up, because I am not going to be here most likely all of this week. It's going to be a super cold snap this week, and it's going to be a little bit busy at work. So I won't be here probably until next Saturday, which is the weekend before Christmas. So, FYI. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted. Anything new arrives. Later.